Do you know when the voice is gonna speak?
Sometimes.
Does it ever say things just to you that you can only hear?
Yes.
Does it feel like it's coming from inside of you?
More like it's coming from behind me. Like I'm being used.
What does it say?
It said it wants to hurt you.
When did it say that?
Right now.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Fans are experts, movie month. It's my 6th year doing movie month. 30 movies, 30 days, 30 podcasts that you get to listen to. Fans are experts, movie month. It's my 6th year doing movie month. 30 movies, 30 days, 30 podcasts that you get to listen to, including this one right here. But wait, one more time. Fans are experts, movie month. It's my 6th year doing movie month. 30 movies, 30 days, 30 podcasts that you have the pleasure of listening to. An episode is about to start right now. An episode is about to start right now. The theme song is fading out because an episode is starting right now.
You know, the term horror movie seems pretty general. There are many types of horror movies. There's the ghost story, there's the slasher movie, there's the real-life terror. And 2 days apart, I've watched two different movies that I guess could both be classified as horror, but are just drastically different. Both are franchises. Yesterday was a reboot of a franchise, and it's windy out. And today was the part 2 of a franchise, but it's really movie number 3 within this Conjuring world. A little while ago, I watched the first Conjuring. Last week, I think at some point, I forget when, I watched Annabelle, which was a spin-off. And today, just now, I finished The Conjuring 2. And I have to say, these movies are way better than the Annabelle movies, at least so far. I've only watched one Annabelle movie, but others are coming very soon. And here we are again with Ed and Lorraine Warren, real people who claim to be real-life paranormal investigators. And they are dramatized in once again by Patrick Wilson in Vera Farmiga. I never find it too easy to say those names. And once again, they're dealing with a quote-unquote true story as far as a real case. There was a case in England called the Edenfield poltergeist about the Hodgson family and their home being haunted and possessed, and a young girl becoming possessed. And who were there to save the day but Ed and Lorraine Warren? Now, I was doing a little after movie research and saw that they didn't spend as much time investigating, but they were there, at least for a day. It seems like they did a recording. What I loved about this one is that there was some real-life recording. So this young girl in her home, her and her friend made a Ouija board. Her and her sister played with it at night, and they're claiming that is what started everything, where there's a voice started coming out of the girl, "Get out of my house, get out of my house." And the girl started, was it the youngest girls? Yeah, there were 2 girls and 2 boys. And just, your typical hauntings started to happen. But what I liked is that it wasn't just happening to the girl. Her sister started seeing it. Her mother started seeing it. The brother started seeing it. It wasn't like, oh my God, this girl's losing her mind. What's going on? It was like everyone in the family started seeing it. So they all believed it. But what also was happening? Well, no. Then a police officer saw something, and a neighbor saw something where a chair moved, and then there was an interview with like a newscast, and the guy's like, "We're here at Enfield for this poltergeist that seems to be haunting this Hodgson family," and they interview police saying, "We saw a chair move right across, and I looked for wires, and then I looked it up, and there's an actual interview with the actual police officer saying pretty much the same thing. Talked about putting a marble on the ground, looking to see where the marble rolled. It didn't roll. I don't know how the chair moved. They looked for wires." The TV interview actually interviewed these 2 sisters, and this demonic voice came out, and that happened in real life. Whether the girl's completely making it up, or whether there was a demon inside of her, that remains to be seen. That's for the skeptics and the believers to argue. For me, it was like, okay, take what really happened, and in this world, in this movie, it's all real. Demons, angels, ghosts, all of it's real. And a fictionalized version of 2 real paranormal investigators, quote unquote. In this world, they are real paranormal investigators who work for the church. I don't know, and they get sent all over the place to save people. They reluctantly took this case, at least to look into it, because the church asked them to. At one point, they actually left not believing it. They said, there's a lot of stuff here, but nothing proving it. And there was one thing that was, showed the girl was making some stuff up. But then the girl said she made it up because the demon said they'd kill the family if she didn't get everyone to leave. And, I'm going over everything. The movie's 3 years old. I'm going through it as quickly as I possibly can. Because there's other stuff that goes on, too, with the Warrens. And the Warrens figured out that it was real because there were 2 times the girl was possessed and saying things, but it was like fragmented things. And then they realized that if you played both of them together, they actually made one conversation. And there was a ghost that was haunting the house that was being used by a demon who was trying to get the girl. And the demon, okay, is the nun. Now we know the next movie in the Conjuring line is Annabelle Homecoming. But then after that, it's The Nun, starring Vera Farmiga's younger sister. I want to say Tessa, or something like that. She was in American Horror Story. Or she still is. She's been in different seasons. What I didn't realize is that they set up The Nun this early. So for people who see that, they're making a movie about The Nun, they know that it's from The Conjuring 2. They know that what it represents. I had no idea going in that The Nun was even talked about. And it appears that the nun is a demon called Valak, and, at least according to this movie, the nun originated, at least with the Warrens, through Amityville. The Amityville home. The movie started with a voiceover of Vera Farmiga saying, talking about different things, and this one stuck with me. That's actually the quote I used today on Twitter, not realizing it wasn't talking about the main story, but just this kind of, I want to say, cold opening. Like an action movie has a small little adventure to get you ready for the big adventure, and that's what this kind of was. They were so the Amityville. You hear Amityville, you think Amityville horror, and there was the Amityville home, in which a guy killed everyone in his family, and then another family moved in and said the house was haunted. Then they came out and said that they made that up. It was just a hoax. But they were, at least in this movie, the Warrens showed up to investigate it anyway, had a seance, and Vera Farmiga kind of saw everyone being killed. That was a kind of a gruesome beginning, because it wasn't a ghost. It was just like, you see it through her eyes, but a guy going around killing his entire family. That was bad. But then she ends up in the basement of the home, and that's where she sees the nun, and she sees a vision of something like some guy's neck breaking. You really didn't see what it was. It looked like a neck breaking, like some head snapping back. She freaked out. She's like, we can't do this anymore. We need to take a break. We can still lecture, but I don't want to be doing investigating for any time for a while. And he's like, all right, I guess not. For the first hour of this movie, the Warrens aren't even in England. They're on their own, kind of dealing with their own thing while all the haunting stuff's going on in England. I didn't realize it was going to be like an hour before they get there. And say what you want about the real life Warrens. I don't know anything about them except for this movie, and I've heard things where they show up, they try to make a buck. I don't know, but in this movie, at least they come off as these earnest, believable paranormal investigators, and I like that for the characters. Maybe the real people weren't as nice or are complete hoaxers, complete con artists. But in the movie, I like that the characters are nice people who love each other, who believe each other, who are there to save people and help people, and they're just not dicks. And they're just, I don't know, maybe I just like Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. I think that could be it. But while the haunting stuff is going on, Vera has a vision of the nun. Oh, the husband woke up. He's like, I had a terrible nightmare, and I drew this thing I saw, and it was the nun. He was a great painter. And then she's like, oh, my God. She's like, we got to stop doing this haunting stuff. He's like, okay, why? She goes, just trust me. She didn't want to say that's the same nun she saw at the Amityville basement, or in the vision at the Amityville basement, because she was still in the seance while that all happened. She kind of spirit walked, I guess you could say. So eventually she has a vision herself of the nun screaming, like haunting the house. It made it look like the daughter saw it, but it was all kind of in Vera's head, in Elaine Warren, right? Yeah, I think. I don't know. Ed and Lorraine, not Elaine, Lorraine. It was all in her mind. She saw this demon show up and try to scare her, and then she scratched all these things into her Bible. Later on, we come to find out that what she actually scratched in was the demon's name that she used to kill the demon in the end. Again, and that vision she saw in the basement was then she saw it again, and this time it was her husband getting a big giant spike stabbed through him. And, of course, at the end, they show a tree outside that's the exact same spike, and Patrick Wilson almost falls out, but Vera saves him. When she saves the girl, when she says the demon's name, and the demon's like, ah, and the nun goes away. But I guess we're going to see the beginning of the nun in the movie The Nun. I can say the nun 5 more times if that helps. Once she saw that vision, then it shows a priest show up and like played a tape for them, and they're like, "Oh, what's wrong with that guy?" He's, It's like, "Oh no, that voice is coming from an 11-year-old girl." That was the TV recording of the "I'm Bill Wickens. I'm here. You're in my house." That was basically the voice coming out of an 11-year-old girl. And then I watched the real video, and it's like, "I'm Bill Wickens." So it sounded pretty creepy. Whether the girl's just completely screwing with us, making up the voice. And they showed a picture of the girl, quote-unquote, levitating. It looked like she was just jumping out of her bed. But there's a real photo like that they pretty much made match for match, which I love. Whether or not you believe this stuff is actually happening, they're taking it at face value and making these movies as if they're real. And something about it just rings. I don't know. It just works for me. It scares me, and it just entertains me. And I don't know. I just really dig that. James Wan is also really good with cameras. Now, this guy went on to direct Aquaman, like the most successful DC Comics movie, over $1 billion. The guy's pretty much punched his ticket to be able to deliver big budget movies. He also did a big Fast and the Furious movie, but he's not coming back for Conjuring 3 as far as I read another guy's directing it, but I'm sure he still has a hand in it. And he does these great just camera tricks where sometimes it looks like it's one sustained shot. 20 years ago, it probably had to be a sustained shot. Nowadays, you can do camera tricks digitally, but it's things where the camera's going through windows and around doors and into rooms, and it just follows people. I love those things. I love, just artistic choices that are interesting. Interesting camera angles to be interesting, to kind of point your, you could just, like there's a pillow sitting in front of me on a bench. I could shoot that pillow because that pillow's important, or I could come in at a weird angle at that pillow to kind of, I don't know, make it uneasy or unsettling. The camera kind of adding to the suspense. He does a good job with that. And he also does, and it happens a lot, but every time I'm waiting for it to happen, sometimes it doesn't, where you're looking at someone, the person looks over, the camera goes with them, he looks back, nothing's there, he looks again, nothing's back, and then it looks back and the demon's like behind you or something, and it's just like these little things where it builds up the tension. You see that in a lot of horror movies, where it builds up the tension where you look, oh good, there's nothing, oh there it is, and then the monster comes out, or the demon, or whatever. And they do a good job with that. Just bangs, practical things like bed shakings, and just overall, there was also just some real super creepy stuff where, like, a dog, you think it's a dog, and then it turns into this giant crooked man, and it's like the Crooked Man. And I don't know if the Crooked Man was invented for The Conjuring 2 or not. It sounds like I've heard it before, but then I'm thinking that could be the Thin Man, or right? Isn't there a Thin Man? Slender Man. Then there was the crooked, or the crooked neck lady from Haunted Hill, House on Haunted Hill, wasn't it? Broke neck lady or something like that. Yeah, I mean, geez, for some reason, why did I talk almost double this about Chucky? Maybe because I was just so annoyed by Chucky yesterday. But this is just, kind of an enjoyable ghost story. You take it at face value, you realize it's being Hollywoodified, and you realize that some good actors, some good scares, and it's that tinge of, quote-unquote, oh, the wind, that tinge of true story that sticks with me. I don't know. I've the Annabelle movie, there's no based on a true story. I'm assuming the two Annabelle other movies are not based on true stories. I'm assuming The Nun is not based on a true story. I don't think The Nun is anything to do with the real life warrants, but I could be completely wrong. Maybe they're claiming there is a nun. I'll be interested to see, because as far as Conjuring movies, there's the universe. There are 2 more movies out and 1 movie coming out next week. And, after today I have 8 more spots. So, I pretty much have every movie mapped out, and you might be hearing more about these that doll and that nun very soon, very, very soon. But that's okay. I wanted to do this. This is part of the series I wanted to watch. There's another series I'm watching I'll be catching up on too. I'm very happy with the movies that I've chosen, even the ones I didn't like. I'm glad I did it, and I'm happy with the movies that I'm going to be closing this month out with. And there's always other movies, and there's always next year. There's a couple movies I'm like, oh, I got to watch these. I haven't seen these 3 movies. And that could be next year. Right? Year 7. But this is year 6. And this is day 22. And The Conjuring 2 was fun, spooky, scary. The fact that you find real footage of these people really made it more satisfying, I guess is the word I'm looking for. And if you look up on YouTube, the Hodgson, I think it's Janet Hodgson and the Edfield poltergeist. If you've seen Conjuring 2, you're going to see real footage that looks a lot like what we saw in the movie. And it's just creepy. Believe it or not, it's still creepy. If it's a hoax, it's a creepy hoax. And if it's mental illness, and it's just sad, where it's, there could be a fine line where someone believes what is happening, even if it isn't happening. Someone is making it up, or there's a demon nun and she wants her soul. And she uses a dead man who is old. There's a doll in the box, and that's scary too. Wait, that rhymes with the name of this movie is Conjuring 2. Damn it, I wanted to say you and 2. Any excuse to sing, even though I didn't write a song for the Conjuring 2. Yeah, I think that's it. I am, today's Saturday, and it was pretty busy today. Pretty busy. Went for a dog walk. Then my wife made me clean out my top drawer of my dresser because it turns out I'm a mini hoarder. I had old cell phones that I didn't want to throw away. I had I have a multitude of USB cords, and we've kind of consolidated all of that into a much nicer top drawer that I'm sure I'm going to ruin in a couple of weeks, but for now it looks great. I also have a concert tonight, a rock and roll concert. There's a place in Derry, New Hampshire called the Tupelo Music Hall. The thing I like about this place is that it gets popular artists that may not be that popular anymore. Now, my wife went there to see Gavin DeGraw. He's fairly popular. She went there to see Bob Saget. And I myself went there to see Dee Snider, Stryper, Candlebox. Who else have I seen there? Oh, I've seen the Trinity, which is the old lead singer of Iron Maiden, of Judas Priest, and of Queensryche. And that same man, the old lead singer of Queensryche, Jeff Tate, is who I'm going to see tonight. If you know Queensryche, well, then you know who Jeff Tate is, and they're going to be doing a full version of their album called Operation Mindcrime. I'm sure. Look it up. It's a giant concept album about 30 years old. And I am thrilled to finally see it live tonight with him and his young band, because he's not in Queensryche anymore. This has nothing to do with Movie Month. I'm just rambling. And I think I'm done. I need to go vacuum. That's what I need to do. I need to vacuum and then cook my dog some dinner. Not cook him, make him some dinner. So that's it. I want to thank you guys for listening. 22 days in the books. We only have 8 left. Now listen to me. Tomorrow, I'm going to my in-laws' house. Okay, we're going there from Sunday to Tuesday. It's getting very windy. And I need to try to figure out when and where I'm going to watch these movies. I'm probably going to try to watch the Sunday movie. I might be able to watch it before we even leave, which would be nice. I doubt it's going to happen. Otherwise, I'm going to find a corner in my in-laws' house and watch a movie Sunday night and Monday night. I've done it before. I'll do it again. And then Tuesday, hopefully we come home. Wednesday, I would love to get to the movie theater. Thursday, probably watch something at home. And then Friday is when we go back to my cousins in New York, where I was last year. Now, we leave Friday, hopefully early, but never that early. Usually I'm able to watch the movie before we leave on Friday. Then Saturday, I have to watch a movie there. And Sunday we come home, and that's the last day of Movie Month. And I'm trying to contemplate, do I watch a movie there in the morning, or do I wait till we come home? That's the conundrum. That's the big choice I have to make. But I've never missed a day, no matter where I go, no matter who I'm with. I've seen a movie every day, every June for the last 6 years, and I'm not going to stop now. That was a burp. So, until tomorrow, my friends, I want to thank you for listening. You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Geek Mentality. The website is fansnotexperts.com. The wind is picking up. And on Facebook, it's just Fans Not Experts. You can also find me on Letterboxd. If you know what Letterboxd is, it's Geek Mentality there. I have a list of every Movie Month movie I've ever done. There's a list for every single year, broken up by year. And there's a link to every movie month movie, at least for the last couple of years. I don't know if I have all going back to 2014, but I'll find it and I will fix that if that's not the case. So again, most importantly, Twitter and Instagram, Geek Mentality. Find me, follow me there. You can reach out to me there, or you can email geekmentality@fansnotexperts.com. And my friends, that is it. Another spooky movie in the book. I watched it bright and during the day, so that I wasn't very scared. I did close the shades just to, so the sun wasn't glaring on me. But it still spooked me out. Still made me jump. I was going to try to rhyme something with Humpty Hump, but I'm done. So until tomorrow, my friends, here is my theme song. This is my podcast. I made it. Geek Mentality's what I named it. And I think you should listen and subscribe, 'cause I'm kinda funny and awesome. I think that I'm worth your time, and I'm kinda handsome. My mom says, please listen and please subscribe. At least listen to this episode.
Fans Not Experts.